Hello and welcome to night one of round two of the Democratic presidential debate. I'm Jake Tapper here from CNN and I named myself in the womb. Now I know we spent an hour, hyping the crowd up with all these motivational speakers. You had like the Lieutenant Governor of Michigan, the DNC chair of Michigan, and the whole DNC chair. But we're going to ask you to remain completely quiet during the debate. And if anyone isn't quiet, the stage will literally explode. Now, given that we have 10 candidates, each candidate will only have a limited time to speak on certain issues. For instance, if a candidate wants to talk about a certain issue, and they seem really impassioned about it, that's when we just cut them off. No more. Absolutely none. No way, Jose. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First question, we'll go to Mr. John Delaney, who shares way too many letters in common with John Mulaney. Now, I know that I'm not polling well, and I think I have the explanation. The explanation of that is that people just don't like bipartisan solutions. They can't get it out of their heads, these crazy politics, And I mean, all I'm saying is that if you come up on the stage and you have a plan, the best thing you gotta do is explain the plan. That's all I'm saying, and my accent is getting more and more southern. I don't like this at all. Thank you. Now, for continuing opening statements, we're going to go with Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren. Thank you, Jake. Now, we all know that the president has been compromising our security, our way of life. Now, thankfully, I have a plan for that. We're going to sneak into the Oval Office and put a whoopee cushion on the president's chair. Thank you. Alright, now let's go to Mayor Pete Buttigieg, your opening statement. Do you see this guy? This represents that, in the end, we're all going to die. Death is a constant, and we are all perpetuating our endless cycle of death and rebirth. That is my vision for America. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor Buttigieg. Now we're going to go to Marianne Williamson. Now I have a question for the stage and all of America, all the American people. How much money are you willing to pay for crystals? Because I've had multiple experiences with that. Because, they don't buy themselves. And honestly, books ain't doing so well. So, anybody have a really great place where I could buy just in bulk? Like a Costco, but for crystals. Thank you, that is my opening statement. Thank you, Miss Williamson. Now we're gonna go to, I don't know exactly what the title is. He's ran for senator, but I guess it would be former congressman Beto O'Rourke, for your opening statement. America is under attack. Every day, we stray further from our ideals. And the closer we get to total tyrannic dictatorships. And honestly, I don't know, man. That kind of seems pretty cool. I wish I had somebody that told me what to do all the time. That would be way easier. Okay, thank you. Now we're going to go to Senator Bernie Sanders with his opening statement. Thank you, Jake. Now, what I want to address tonight is that how the 1% of people have an IQ of 140 or higher, and I think they're squandering all the IQ points. I feel like everyone should have the same amount of IQ, and the IQ should be 25. Why the specific IQ? I don't know. I'll leave that up to Congress. But that is the primary thing that I am running on. Thank you, Jake. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Now, we're going to the one that looks like a combination of a football coach and a face-app version of Mark Zuckerberg. Tim Ryan. Thank you, Jake. Now, I am running for president because I can. There is no other reason why I should be running for president. I feel like that is enough. Fair enough. Now we're going to John Hickenlooper. No, that's not right. John Hickenlooper, I believe. Dude, I'm high as fuck. Thank you, Governor. Well, we are now going to Senator Amy Klobuchar. Very cool name, Amy. My policies are a little different than the president's. For one, I believe that Medicare is a human right, although I do not support Medicare for all. While he... I don't even know. Are we all alone in the universe? Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. Well, lastly, and least significant, we go to a new contender. I believe it is Steve Bullock. Any relation to Sandra Bullock, Steve? No! I am sick and tired of people saying that I'm related to Sandra Bullock, okay? I am running for president for the sole purpose of educating people that I have no relation at all to Sandra Bullock. Okay, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Okay, it's not that hard. Well, that, sums up our opening statements. First question will, of course, go to the least qualified to answer it. John Delaney, on healthcare, we're starting with. What are your views on healthcare? Should it be more focused on health, or more focused on care? I mean, honestly, just out of the back of my head, healthcare is such a bipartisan issue. I mean, everything should have already been passed. But no. People on both sides are denying a valid healthcare system. And as president, well, no, I disagree with that. And this is why. No, I really hate. Why do you smile every time you get annihilated?
This is my protection smile.
It just appears.
This is my protection
It's just
smile.
there's no. I don't even see it form.
It means
It
there's
just
a shield around.
materializes on your face.
Words
Good thing I
just
have a
bounce
plant
right
phone.
off. It's magic. I traded my soul for it.
Pete Buttigieg here. You see this quarter? It was lying on the bottom of my shoe, and I think a baby leprechaun put it there. And that's what I think about that. Thank you. Well, now, we're going to pivot to a different topic, my mixtape. Yes, so, just to, be sure to be as critical as you want, but, I mean, what do you think of this? Alright? What do you think of this? Go ahead and play it.
Ooh yeah, it's me, Jake Tapper, the Finnish newsman, and you got the clapper. Hey, I'm a rapper, now and always.
What?
Yeah, I got the boom.
Hey!
Yeah, I got the boom in my
Boom,
pants
boom
and
in
everything.
pants.
La la
Yeah.
la la.
Jake
La, la,
Tapper.
la. I'm Jake Tapper.
It's Jake
Yeah.
Tapper.
This is the
Hey.
chorus part.
It's the
Got
chorus
sick
part.
beat that I haven't started.
Thank you. Now, our next topic is the issue of climate change. Now, I know all of you have similar opinions. Basically, climate change bad. We need to do something about it. Global warming is a thing that exists. So, more specifically, how do you all plan to reduce carbon emissions? And as well as, making sure that the only thing that's fire here. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just reading A Tale of Two Kitties by Charles Dickens. Yeah, climate change is something that we really need to address. It's something that is important, and I have a plan to reduce carbon emissions to zero as well as create a lot of new jobs. I agree with Pete, but at the same time I think Pete is an idiot and should die. Now, here is how I balance the two. 1. I have an IQ of exactly 103. Divide that by 2, I don't know. My IQ isn't high enough to answer that question. But how I will deal with the climate is this. This is why. Well, climate change is just really God just shaking his crystal ball, right? So all we have to do is just tap on the side. Hey, it's like, hey God, don't shake that crystal ball too hard, huh? The friction is really heating up. So yes, that is how I would address the climate crisis, yeah. Yes, I do have a plan for the climate crisis, but first I have to ask a question. How come everybody likes Pete that much? I mean, look at it. I mean, what is he doing? You know what? Do you want me to be like Pete? Like, hey, hey, I listened to Hamilton before the debate to get hyped up. Hey, hey, I'm married to a man. Please redact that part. Sorry. I support LGBTQ rights. Nah. All right. Now we're going to go to John Bullock, I believe your name is. And what are your plans to address the climate crisis? Climate crisis? I mean, I have an identity crisis. I mean, my shirt is on backwards. What do you? The tag is right here. I mean, I got a lot of stuff to deal with first before we focus on like crises, besides my own. I suppose that's fair. Well, we're going to pivot into our last subject before we go into closing statements. Gun ownership. Thoughts? Gun? Oh, shit. You just see this gun? Ow. It's great, it's great. Well, it appears that John Hickenlooper has entered a marijuana-induced coma, so we'll have his podium self-destruct, so we won't be needing that now. Thank you. Alright, next question regarding to gun safety goes to, just pulling a name out of my head, John Delaney. What are you gonna do? Gun safety. Well, obviously,
No,
he's just telling you
me being
there's
bipartisan.
nonsense. It doesn't make any sense.
And not actually.
Meanwhile,
the smiles. It's starting to smile.
I
It
would
like, and
it's
hear
like
me out.
somebody took a
I know
jump
this is
cut
kinda departure.
it was just two
our
shots
regular.
put together.
No guns
One where
thing,
he
but
was
what if we
smiling,
had a
and
lot
one
of
where he
guns?
wasn't.
Like a
It is
lot of
disturbing
guns.
me. I
What
don't
if
know
we
if I'm
just
the only one, but please.
What if we just
tell me I'm not the
made
only one who
things out
just
of
sees
guns?
the
Like
smile
we
just
made
appear on
guns
his
out
face.
of other guns.
Honestly, I just am
I think
very
that would be
disturbed.
really neat.
All right, Beto O'Rourke. Go ahead. Gun safety thoughts. Hot dog en la biblioteca. Puerto Rico está muy bien. El trompo es amor es odio. Me gusta los ejercicios, esquiar, montar bicicleta, y montar el cabello, y montar el jumeno, disregando dato parto. That is how I would deal with guns. Also, I am a baritone in my local church choir. Alright, that about sums it up. We're gonna have closing statements, but we're running out of time, so instead I'm gonna ask each candidate to just say one word that they think represents their platform the best. Let's start with John Delaney. Making a deal with the restless god of the deep. Alright, Amy Klobuchar. You haven't called on me to answer any questions. Odd thing to describe your campaign upon, but who am I to judge? I'm just a newsman / SoundCloud rapper. Jake Tapper, that's me. My name is Jake Tapper. Jake, I'd like to go my closing word or phrase. I'm just gonna make a turn of phrase, ain't that right, millennials? Anyways, my phrase is frogs. Give 'em cash! All right, Marianne Williamson, your closing remark. You see this tape? Alright, Pete Buttigieg, your closing remark. Listen, I just want to thank everyone for listening to me tonight, listening to my ideas, and sticking with America. I know everything is sort of divisive now, and I mean, sure. Am I a perfect human being? Yes. Thank you. Alright. Next is... I don't know who else. The Bullock guy. Alright, the Bullock. Oh my god! I am not related to Sandra Bullock. One of my aides just came in and asked me. I literally, the first thing I said after hiring them, I said, I am not related to Sandra Bullock. They didn't listen. Obviously. Everyone asked me. Sandra Bullock and I have never even met. Sure, I'm sure people in their family haven't met before. Oh my god, am I and Sandra Bullock related? Thank you. Alright, Elizabeth Warren, your closing statement. America, I have one question to ask you. If there was a zombie apocalypse, and you had to choose to either be holding a chainsaw, or holding the Declaration of Independence, which one would you rather choose? This is the choice that I'm asking you to make. Just like the choice that's happening in the 2020 election. Because we have the choice between the Declaration of Independence, which is a set of laws, and a set of promises of a life, and a chainsaw, something that rips through flesh. It'll look like it gets the job done, but in the end, all that's left is just a mound of bloody guts. So, America, do you want the Declaration of Independence, or do you want the chainsaws? That's a question that you need to ask yourself. Alright, thank you, all candidates and people who didn't get a closing statement. I'm sorry, just shut up, I don't care about you or your lives. Anyway, this is all for the first night one of round 2 of the 2020 Democratic presidential debates. See you in September when hopefully there's less people. No guarantees and no promises.
Carnage. Whoa.
This is the
Hey,
beat part. Hey,
It's me.
this
It's
is
me,
Jake Tapper.
Jake
Jake
Tapper.
Tapper.
It's me.
Jake,
I went
to
into
the
CNN and they said they couldn't let me play this because it
Jake
was a
Tapper.
horrible rap.
Rap.
But I guess they were
rap,
wrong. And sure, it doesn't rhyme, but it ran out of time. And I
Rap
ran out of things. Now I gotta do
two
things.
things
And
that rap,
also, I'm a
rap,
news person.
news
That says
person.
the news.
News is new. Jake Tapper, your mixtape is horrible.